Hello, my name is Doug and I am a social worker. I'm here today to speak on behalf of my client and what my client has been able to achieve while here as a DACA approved migrant, and hopefully present testimony that will enable my client to be granted the flexibility to be reconsidered by the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services for DACA application renewal status. My client is a 19-year-old male that came to the United States from Guatemala to seek asylum with his sister due to the fact that his mother and father were murdered by organized gang violence within his hometown of Chiquimula. The municipality of Chiquimula is known for its accessibility to contraband routes into and out of the country of Guatemala. As a result, many organized crime gangs have made Chiquimula their primary place of operation to conduct and organize criminal activity. Homicide rates within the municipality of Chiquimula have been above the national average for over the past decade. According to police data, from 2001 to 2014, Chiquimula has averaged 78 homicides per year, which makes the municipality the most homicidal place within the country of Guatemala. During 2014, the year my client Walfred, which means peaceful ruler in Guatemala, and his sister left the country, there was strong evidence at many of the homicide crime scenes that organized crime activity was largely to blame because many of the victims were shot multiple times. There were signs of torture, bodies had been moved, high caliber weapons had been used, and there was a particular method as to how the homicides were carried out. My client Walfred and his sister have been considered dreamers since their arrival into the United States as undocumented migrants in 2014. During his time here in the U.S., Walfred and his sister have been given the opportunity to remain in the U.S. due to the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, an executive order signed by President Obama on June 15, 2012. Due to Walfred arriving into the U.S. before his 16th birthday, he and his sister, who was 18 years of age at the time of their arrival, but still fits within the DACA specific eligibility of being under the age of 31, successfully petitioned for DACA status in August of 2014. Because of DACA, temporary asylum has allowed for Walfred to reconnect with extended family, of which he and his sister are living with today. While living with their uncle's family, their father's brother, Walfred has been able to attend public school through the help of his uncle, participate in a summer school academic credit recovery program, which enables him to engage and learn core academic subject areas such as English, math, science, and social studies, essential for the fulfillment of a high school diploma and eligibility into the local school district's vocational school programming opportunities. Also, Walfred's sister, during her time here in the United States, thanks to the DACA executive order, has taken the opportunity to engage in a general equivalency diploma program at the local community college nearby where she resides with her brother and uncle's family. Now, so much has happened for Walfred and his sister in just a little over 2 years. They have done the right things by making an application for DACA status, of which they were approved, and during their time here in the United States, they were able to reunite with family, engage in this country's formal learning process, of which both Walfred and his sister earned a certified stamp of approval for completing the learning objective requirements put into place within the programs they were involved in. Walfred has gone above and beyond by getting educated and learning a vocational skill in such a short period of time in pursuit of possibly having the opportunity to live the American dream, which is to live in a society that is civilized, humane, and treats people fairly while obtaining employment, contributing back to society, and having the opportunity to raise a family without fear of an organized criminal element that destroys everything in its pathway. The problem now resides with technicalities that have been put into place by the new presidential administration that has made Walfred and his sister ineligible to reapply for ongoing DACA status. The technicalities entail new policies. Specifically, on September 5, 2017, DACA policy had been rescinded, and only those that had been approved for DACA prior to September 5, 2017 are eligible to reapply for ongoing DACA approval. My client and his sister would still be eligible for DACA status if it ended there. The hook gets larger from here. The problem which affects my client entails if an approved DACA application has an expiration date that falls before September 6, 2016, 1 year prior to the rescinded DACA policy date, then those dreamers are no longer in consideration for renewal of their DACA application, but are eligible to make a new application for approved DACA status. My client fits within this category because my client established successful application for DACA status in August of 2014. Approved DACA application is in good standing for up to a 2-year period of time. This means that my client's approved DACA application expired in August of 2016 prior to the September 6, 2016 deadline. Walfred, his sister, and uncle are devastated by the technicality of dates that will not allow them to be eligible for renewal status. Walfred did make application for renewal status, but it was in October 2016, not by the deadline of September 6, 2016. You see, my client started working as a laborer, utilizing his vocational training that he independently pursued with some assistance from his uncle's family. The opportunity for him to better himself would not have been possible back in his hometown of Chiquimula due to high volatile civil unrest within its municipality borders and throughout the country of Guatemala. Contrary to popular opinion, that would lead you to believe that unauthorized migrants are flooding the country and taking jobs away from Americans, but the facts say otherwise. In 2015, unauthorized migrants or dreamers accounted for 3.4% of the total U.S. population, which equates to about 11.3 million dreamers. Of the 11.3 million dreamers, 8 million of them were employed or had been employed and were looking for work. This accounts for only 5% of the total U.S. civilian labor force. Guatemala is still to this day full of civil unrest and violence. Guatemala, which is considered to be part of the Northern Triangle region of Central America, which includes El Salvador and Honduras, of which is considered to be the most dangerous region in the world. Hundreds of thousands of people over the past couple of years have been making attempts to seek asylum in other countries due to the poor economic, political instability, and violence that has been developing within the Northern Triangle region. Guatemala is far from safe, and to send somebody to a region where thousands of people are fleeing due to warlike conditions would be inhumane and a violation of his human rights. My client has done all the right things since he came here to the U.S. to seek asylum from his native country. Yes, he loves his country, but the criminal element that occupies his country took away the closest people to him, his parents, who he and his sister loved dearly. That has changed, not because of him, but because of the violence that is present in his country of Guatemala. My client deserves an opportunity to continue to live a life free from violence and to remain with his extended family, which is the only family he and his sister has left. You and I know that a new DACA application at this point in time is considered to be dead upon arrival with no chance of approval. My client deserves the opportunity to apply for DACA approval under a renewal status application status. It is your duty and obligation as a society that stands up to significant human rights violations to recognize my client's positive efforts to better himself, live in a society that is stable, and to continue to live with the only family he and his sister have left. Please consider my client for DACA application renewal status. Thank you.